Welcome to Shapers Learning Academy, Deep Learning Module number 6. In our previous video, we had a chance to learn about the loss function and its functionalities. This video in Deep Learning Module 6, let's learn about overfitting, underfitting of the training data and its predictions, as well as the convolutional neural networks. Overfitting occurs when our model becomes really good at being able to classify or predict on data that was included in the training set, but is not good as at classifying data that it wasn't trained on. So essentially, model has overfit the data in the training set. As we know, training a neural network includes sharing data to the system. We train the machine with certain data so that we understand that the machine would be able to predict the model in the future. But when a system is able to actually predict the things that was fed to it, but not able to predict the training set, some elements beyond the training set, then that system or that scenario we call it as overfitting. So overfitting occurs when the validation metrics are considerably worse than the training metrics. So what do you mean by validation metrics? Validation metrics is the output of the validation dataset. We have two types of dataset. One is training dataset and the validation dataset. Training dataset is a set of data that we feed to the machine to get trained, whereas validation dataset is something like a test dataset. We give test right after teaching someone. So that is what is called as validation dataset. So when the validation metrics are considerably worse than the training metrics, then we call the system, this particular scenario, as overfitting. Now let's understand as how to avoid the overfitting in a neural network. The first and the basic step is to add more data to the training set. So we are sure that the validation dataset is not working well. It means that the training is not appropriate or training is not sufficient. So what we are supposed to do is very natural, right? We add better data to the training set. We add better information to the data set so that the machine gets trained well and will be able to predict the model and the validation set. The next element is data augmentation. So when I say data augmentation is something like modifying the existing training data set. Probably the machine is not able to predict or work well with the validation dataset because the picture or the message that has been fed into is not in an appropriate size or shape. So data augmentation involves 4 steps: cropping, rotating, flipping, and zooming. So data augmentation involves 4 steps: cropping, flipping, zooming, and rotating. And step number 3 to avoid overfitting in neural network is to reduce the complexity of the model. When I say reducing the complexity, reducing certain layers of the model or removing certain neurons. So this may actually reduce the objective of the neural network, but still this may help in overfitting. Now let's come to the other end of the spectrum. What is underfitting? A model is said to be underfitting when it is not even able to classify the data it was trained on. So previously, the previous slides, we saw overfitting, where the model is able to predict the data for the training set that it was trained on, but not able to predict the validation set. Whereas underfitting is a concept where the model is not able to classify the data that it was trained on. It is something like the student has been taught, but is not able to reproduce what he has been taught. So we can tell that the model is underfitting when the metrics given for the training data are poor, meaning that the training accuracy of the model is low or the training loss is high. How do we avoid underfitting in a neural network? So the contingency actions are just the reverse of overfitting model. Here we are supposed to increase the complexity of the model. So you are supposed to introduce new layers and more neurons and better activation functions. So this will make the network still stronger, still stubborn, and hence will be able to make correct predictions. And number two, we are supposed to add more features to the input samples. Maybe the training set which you are feeding may not even help the basic stuff. So you're supposed to increase the knowledge of the training set itself. You're supposed to increase the features. You're supposed to feed the machine with better and better images so that your system works well. Dropout is a regularization technique that randomly ignores a subset of nodes even in a given layer. It essentially prevents these dropped out nodes from participating in producing a prediction on the data. I would like to introduce you and another interesting concept called as convolutional neural networks. Convolutional neural networks are the set of neural networks which deals with visual imagery. Visual imagery. A convolutional neural network is a deep learning algorithm which takes an input image, assign importance, weights and biases to various aspects objects in the image and be able to differentiate from one another. CNN is best suited algorithm for visual inspection and classifiers. So convolutional neural networks are in short called as ConNets. ConNets. So ConNets are the superheroes that took working with images and deep learning to the next level. With ConNets, the input is an image and more specifically a 3D matrix. As we know, image recognition is taking up a very great shape in the modern digital world. So it's CNN is a basic algorithm which helps this image processing to a great level. Typically, a convolutional neural network has three types of layers. One is the convolutional layer. Number two is a pooling layer. Number three is a fully connected layer. The role of a convolutional neural network is to reduce the images into a form which is easier to process without losing the features which are critical for getting a good prediction. Here is the description of the convolutional layer. So convolutional layer has three subsections. One is the input, the kernel, the filters and the output. The convolutional layer gets an input of matrix of dimension H1, W1, D1, the blue color. Next comes the kernels or the filters. So for each convolutional layer here, for each blue colored layer, we have a series of kernels. So kernel is a matrix with the dimension of H2, W2, D1, H2, W2 and D1. So which is one yellow cuboid of multiple cuboids stacked on top of each other. So for each convolutional layer, there are multiple kernels stacked on the top of each other. So this forms a three-dimensional matrix of dimension H2, W2, D2. So D2 is the number of kernels. For each kernel, there is a bias. So bias, as we discussed in the earlier modules of neural networks. So the third part forms the output, the green layer. So output for this layer, the green matrix, which has a dimension H3, W3, D2. So certain insights. The depth of D1 of the input of one kernel is the same. The depth D2 of the output is equal to the number of kernels. That is the depth of the orange three-dimensional matrix. So until this point, we observe as how a convolution of an image takes place for a 1D image. So what about a 2D convolution? For each position on the kernel of the image, each number on the kernel gets multiplied with a corresponding number of the input matrix. So here is the input matrix, whereas here is the kernel. Something like this. Input matrix of the kernel. So this is for 1D. Whereas for 2D, here's the input matrix and here's the kernel. So for each position of the kernel on the image, each number on the kernel gets multiplied with the corresponding number on the input matrix, and they're all summed up for the value in the corresponding position in the output matrix, the green matrix. So entire process is repeated with all the D2 kernels, which forms the D2 channel in the output layer. So let's learn about the pooling layers and the fully connected layers in the subsequent modules. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.